Hey guys, it's Tweak back again with another Booster Tutor. I've got another Aether Revolt pack to go through with you today. I've been doing a lot of drafting over the last few weeks, so excited to be able to go back through this one with you and show you what I've learned, I guess. So let's get straight into this pack. And so right off the top there we've got Bastion Enforcer. So he's a 3/2 for 3, Dwarf Soldier, nothing too special to say about that one. Just that he's a dwarf will work in that sort of dwarf tribal theme. Probably not too many cards that'll boost that at the moment though. Next up we've got Chandra's Revolution. Now I really like this card, I haven't had a lot of success with it yet. It's a 4-drop sorcery, 3 colourless and a red. Has Chandra's Revolution, deals 4 damage to target creature, tap target land. That land doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So a nice bit of control there, you get to remove one of their threats and keep them off a colour, especially if they're in that 3 colour sort of range. So not a bad card there. Next up we've got Shipwreck Moray. Now I really like this one, I had a good experience with it at my pre-release. He's a 0/5 for 4, 3 colourless and a blue. When he enters the battlefield he gives you 4 energy, you can pay 1 energy and he gets +2 neg2 until end of turn. So, great sort of utility card there for your energy. You can be aggressive with him, and then when they assign no blockers, you can get in for some extra damage, or you can keep him back as a sort of utility blocker. Leave him up as a 0/5 to deal with bigger things, or start spending that energy to deal with smaller threats. Just remember, he's not sort of interchangeable, so he only goes up, in that you can only plus to his attack and minus to his defense. It's not interchangeable, so you can't sort of bring it back down if you run into trouble. Next up we've got Daring Demolition. It's destroy target creature or vehicle, 2 colourless and 2 black to cast. Any sort of removal is always fantastic, especially things that'll let you just deal with flat out vehicles. They're probably the trickier things to kill, even though they fall under the artifact range. None of the creature removal sort of works on them. At least not the sorcery speed stuff, so nice card there. Next up we've got Prey Upon, very powerful card in green. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So that happens for a single green at sorcery speed. Worth noting, they don't assign combat damage like some interactions do with cards. They just fight, so they just assign their damage like they usually do. It's not actual combat damage. Pretty good card for green. Being able to spend 1 mana to instigate a fight is just fantastic. So next up we've got Aether Poisoner. So it's a 2-drop 1/1 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield generates 2 energy, and when it attacks you may pay 2 energy. If you do you get a 1/1 colourless servo. So nice card there again. Having a Death Toucher is always fantastic, generates that 2 energy as it comes in as well, so you're definitely getting value for that 2-drop cost. If you're thinking about going into black, probably worth the pick. You're not really going to trigger the create colourless servo all that often, like you can though if you wish to, because you've got that Death Touch in there, but probably using it just to generate that energy and keeping some of the scarier sort of creatures off you. Next up we've got Foundry Assembler. So he's a 5-drop 3/3, has Improvise though, so this is probably a fantastic card if you're going to launch into an Improvise theme, in that you'll usually be able to cast him for around 3, if not 4, and he just also builds into your Improvise sort of playstyle, so as you're tapping down artifacts to be able to cast him for cheaper, he comes in, and then your next Improvise card is going to be cheaper as well. So don't write this guy off straight away. Next up we've got Implement of Improvement. It's a 1-drop artifact that has pay a white, sacrifice Implement of Improvement, you gain 2 life. When Implement of Improvement is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So fantastic for trying to trigger those Revolt cards. Especially useful in white. It replaces itself for 2 mana, so for 2 mana you're getting 2 life, you're getting a Revolt trigger. You can also use this alongside Improvise to tap down. These implements are just fantastic cards, don't write them off either. Now this one I feel is really underrated, at least in my local game store. Sweatworks Brawler. He's a 3/3 for 4, has Improvise and Menace, so Usually easy to cast him for 3, if not 2. And then a 3/3 menace creature is just fantastic. Really hard for your opponent to deal with. Wouldn't write this card off too early either. Next up, we're looking at Consulate Turret. So he's a 3-drop, tap to get an energy, or tap, pay 3 energy, and it deals 2 damage to target player. So not too much of a bomb card there. It's alright in that you can sort of zap your opponent or shock your opponent down if you're getting them on low life, but probably wouldn't be a first pick from me. Definitely don't write the card off though. Next up, we're looking at Death Dismissal. So this one happens at instant speed. It's a 4-drop, 3 colorless and a white. Deals 3 damage, divide as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target attacking or blocking creatures. So it's probably a little costly, but if you know you're going to come up against players who really like that servo theme, might be a worthy investment. Can only target creatures though, so not too powerful there. Next up, we're looking at Ornithopter. So again, if you're looking to get into that improvised theme deck, this is a great card to pick. It's a 0/2 4/0. You can also sort of buff him, and then you've got a free flyer as well that is often hard to deal with. So Ornithopter, definitely great card. Next up, we're looking at Illusionist Stratagem. So it's an instant speed 4-drop, 3 colorless and a blue. Exile up to 2 target creatures you control, then return those creatures to the battlefield under their owner's control, and draw a card. So not a bad card there for those enter the battlefield triggers. Can also use it for your Revolt. Probably a bit of pretty heavy investment at 4 mana if you're trying to trigger your Revolt off it, but the draw card on the end there probably makes this one worthwhile. And our rare for the pack is Greenbelt Rampager. So he's a 1-drop for a 3/4. When he enters the battlefield, pay 2 energy. If you can't return Greenbelt Rampager to its owner's hand, you get 1 energy. So not a bad card if you want to jump into that energy theme, in that it's just going to generate 2 energy for 1 mana, and you get a 3/4. Otherwise, assuming your curve's alright, you're getting a 3/4 on turn 2 that you can attack with. So great card there. Worth noting, and it's sort of a funny rule that I've seen come up a few times in a couple of other videos. When you cast this on whenever you cast this, if you have enough energy to pay that energy cost, you have to pay it. It's not a may. You can see there, it just says pay 2 energy. So you can't just go, I want to add to my energy pool, so I'm just going to cast this, get an energy, and then have 3 energy or 4 or 5. When this enters, it checks your energy pool, and if you've got enough energy, it'll stay on the field. It's not one that you get to choose. So you can look up the rules for that on Gatherer. They've got sort of some citations there, and that's where I'm getting my information from. Sort of getting mixed reports from people, especially from different judges, saying that you can do it different ways, but I'm sort of basing all my assumptions or guesses off of Gatherer there. So worth checking out. Pretty powerful card. And finally, we've got a Forest and an Energy Reserves token.
And my first pick has to go to Greenbelt Rampager for this pack. Now, honourable mentions to Prey Upon, Implement of Improvement, and Sweatworks Brawler, because they all enable awesome strategies, but it's hard to not want to take a 3/4 that you can resolve on turn 2, and then have swing on turn 3. The energy mechanic is just great. While he probably won't be building around that, in that he's going to use that energy pretty much immediately, having a 3/4 come down either in turn 2 or later in the game for 1 mana is just too good to pass up. You don't want to be giving this card away to another player who will be trying to build around this strategy, especially if they get that pick 2, pack 1. And if you get this in your first pack, you can just sort of focus the strategy around that. You might be looking at red-green to try and get some enchantments on him, or black-green to try and get some +1/+1 counters on him. Easy pick for this one, guys. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.